Hey, Facebook. We about to go live, all right? So be sure to go ahead and share the video. Have your people tune in. Got cousin Chris in the building. KO, say what up to the people. Oh, he hiding from us. And then we got the kinfolk. We have Venorris.
Yeah, what's up with it?
All right.
Hustle vision, see the vision.
That's right. We in here. And as always, we have a great discussion lined up. All right, so the topic for today is what is Christmas? Who is Santa? So we'll do your highlights first, you know what I'm saying, on some localness, and then we'll transition into the main topic. All right, and get some feedback from you and your thoughts on Christmas and whatnot.
Most definitely, you know, I'm all for it.
Who is Santa?
Who is Santa?
Right. There you go with them green faces.
Yeah, hit the filter, man.
Go back to the regular view.
I like this one better. It look cool.
No. You all in my face,
Please,
though.
man, back up.
Let me see your hand right quick. Let me see it. Ooh, got them green rings in that green hand like the Hulk. Alright. You too. Look at the purple shirt.
Dang it, I don't know the password by heart.
Acid. Green. Lime green. Purple. Wow. Instead of blue, purple. Instead of that, royal blue.
Cameraman has just been fired.
Right.
The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
Hey, Southwest Georgia. You are now tuned in to Voices on your community radio station, WUTU 88.3, bringing you the best in community
And old school classics.
That's right. I'm your host, Nexus.
Cousin Chris.
And today we are joined in the studio with my kinfolk, our friend, the fam, Mr. Venorris, a.k.a. Scooter. What's going on?
We grew up a little bit, cuz, so free band scooter now.
Oh, not free band Scooter. FBS.
Hey, don't copyright me for that.
That's right. All right.
Yeah,
So,
man.
right, as always, we have a great show lined up.
We do.
Most definitely. And as always, just a couple of safety tips. Be sure to buckle up, drive safe. You know, it's dark, wet, you know,
it's cold,
all of that. And some people are like, well, I can deal with the cold, I can deal with the rain, but when we got them all together, it's like, what am I supposed to do right now? As the old people would say, it's pneumonia weather, so make sure you bundle up, cover up, you know.
Yeah, protect your neck.
Point blank, period.
Most importantly, don't be texting and driving right now.
Oh,
you know,
man.
I'ma stop. So let y'all know I ain't gonna do it no more. Y'all don't do it.
And you did stop for a second, you know what I mean?
Most
In all
so
fairness.
you gotta stop that. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely, because at the end of the day, we can control ourselves. We might not be able to control what they doing in their car, but we can control what we do in our car. Right. So it's important that we make the best and safest choices possible for ourselves, all right? Because we trying to preserve the family. We building kingdoms over here, and we can't do it if we dying at the hands of texting and driving and nonsense like that, all right?
Right.
So, locally, you know, we've heard about a lot of different incidents that have taken place since we were last together.
Yeah, man.
Even with the American situation, even down to the different killings and shootings right here in Albany, Georgia, you know. And so it's important that we continue to encourage and uplift one another, because at the end of the day, that seems to be what we are seeking, what we're desiring is love, attention, you know, just a little bit of appreciation.
Just a little bit. And it goes such a long way, though.
Right.
It goes a long way.
It really does. You know, so depression is a serious thing. Suicides are serious, y'all. And we're losing people that we love and care about, people that we know. And when stuff starts to hit close to home, it's like, wow, I never would have thought such and such would have did this, or he or she would have did that. But we never know what people will do when they're pushed to their limits, all right? So that's why it's so important to know your limits, know your boundaries, know what pushes you to the point of quote unquote no return, to be able to catch yourself and keep yourself from falling over the edge. You know what I'm saying? Because knowledge is power, and self-love is key. All right. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna let you tell the people a little bit about yourself, Venorris, before we get deep into this conversation. Right.
Okay. So appreciate y'all having me first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? My company's called Black Global. We LLC this year. I've actually had it running for about 2 years though. I'm looking to just expand, what we basically are doing right now. It's my nonprofit organization. I always wanted to have to give back something to my community. Everybody with all turmoil about the president and this and that and all the negative going on. I find like I want to be part of the solution, not the problem. And I feel like I can open up a lot of people's eyes to them more so, being more so the solution instead of the problem. Like, about who we uplift in front of our community eyes, I want to be one of those stand-up guys in my community, you know what I'm saying? Not just to say, be out here trying to pop bottles out in the club. I want to do something with my community that's going to help make an effect. I ain't just trying to be the man, I'm trying to be the man in my city. I don't know if y'all understand that, but I'm pretty sure,
Right.
I know exactly what you mean,
people
brother.
get just the swinging, how I'm giving it to them. So, with that being said, I got just a couple drop-off boxes right now. I'm actually about to get ready to make the drop for the toys for Ties. So if you want to get that in, probably like couple more days before Christmas. I got the Salvation Army. I always drop that food off to them. So, it's like Christmas is all about, like we said in the beginning, Christmas is all about giving, And that's what I just want to do right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to give. This is always my way. You know what I'm saying? I hope the community want to help me make it bigger. It's called Black Global because I'm trying to be black and go global with it,
Right, exactly.
We trying to go global. Why not? They do it. Why not me?
Why not?
Right. All right. So speaking of drop-offs and giving back and community support, where can the community drop off? I'm sure non-perishable items, right?
Exactly.
Clothing, coat drive. So where are some of the locations where they can drop off these items?
Like my cousin said, non-perishable food. Don't bring no fish market plate by there.
Right.
Non-perishables to the Phone Hub on Dawson Road, 1923 Dawson Road to be exact. I also have another location. It's the Gardens apartment complex. We have 2 donation boxes there as well, and those are the drop-off points for now. We're looking to make it bigger next year. With the help of 96.3, WALB, with the interviews I did with them, they reached out to a lot of more people. So, if you want to donate, you can also donate to the Black Foundation. It's at that's Black Global Foundation at gmail.com. That's the through via PayPal, not PayPal, you know. PayPal.
Right.
Right.
That's if you can't like just come drop something out. But so you know, if you can't bring the toys, you know, I love to put a smile on the kid's face. That's what Christmas all about to me. You know, just making a kid happy. You know, just giving them hope. You know, and if y'all can step out and help me with that, I would really appreciate it. You know.
All right.
No doubt.
Southwest Georgia sounds like another opportunity to support your own, all right? Because we're all about supporting those who support you. So do remember that Black Global is doing a food drive right now, all right, during this holiday season. So be sure to drop off your non-perishables to the phone hub at 1923 Dawson Road or the Gardens, right?
Right.
All right, and that's the Gardens apartment complex.
Yeah, the Gardens apartment complex. Now don't just go knock on nobody's door and lie and drop them. It's at the main office.
Right, take it to the rental office.
Right. Yeah, Pacific, where the pool is. That's for Brandon Bracy. He'll tell you what to do. You know.
Okay,
Much
all
love
right.
to Bracy too.
Yeah.
Barbara Bracy.
Barbara Bracy,
My boy Bracy said he want to renew his subscription. You know what I'm saying? He said,
right.
you know, he said.
Yeah, I already know I know exactly what you mean, man. Shout out to him, man. He's been supporting C Division TV. You know, much love to Auburn Fish Company as well. His Glory Hair Care Salon, and Macy's Place. You know, on the south side. You go get your plate over there too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So thank you. You know what I mean? Oh man, yeah, I appreciate the love, man.
All right,
Yeah.
Southwest Georgia. I think that's a
Appreciate
good
it, man.
time. Right.
I had to go and throw that.
Yeah.
Hey, on top of your mind, I just want to shout out to the couple people that did actually reach out to me, you know, and
Yeah, give them some love, man. Absolutely.
I want to shout out to my girl Dodie Janae. She's up and coming.
Dodie Janae Fashions, yes.
Yeah, fashion. Yeah.
She was a guest on C Division as well, man. Yeah,
Dodie
much
Janae.
love. Yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to big dudes down there, the Auburn Fish Company, the whole Auburn Fish Company. They always support me anything I do. Big shout out to that boy Six the Boss. Like I really, you know what I'm saying, really recently hooked up with Six, but he always showed me love. Like, you know what I'm saying, and I do the same thing with him and his establishment. And we go back and forth with that. But I feel like all the bosses right now, we got to link up, start supporting our own, start coming together, making big through. So big shout out to that boy Six the Boss for real, you know, because Six is the boss right now. You know what I'm saying? 240 on Smash. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying?
240 lines, right?
All right, Southwest Georgia. Like we said, this is Voices, where valuable opportunities inspire collaborations to elevate society.
Right.
And that's what we're doing right here. All right, it's all about those collaborations to take society to the next level. So be sure to support Black Global. All right.
Yeah.
And before we go to this break, be sure to support the farmers market at Tiff Park. All right, every Saturday from now until next week. You only got a short little bit of time to get it in. All right, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Right, and then of course they'll be back at the end of the winter season.
Right.
And major shout out to all of our participants, all of our youth and parents who supported the Elevated Mind series. All right,
again was a success. Shout out to Rika B. Yeah,
that's right.
And I've been reading her book too.
I got my copy. Yeah.
Yo, man, she wrote that book well. Like I haven't finished it yet, but just reading it, I can picture her saying like everything that's, you know what I mean. Like it's quite a read, man. I encourage anybody, you know, if you're trying to get your financial game together, you know, because we need that if we gonna build for real. We gotta have our finances in order, you know. And so,
shout out to Onyx Wealth Management.
Yes. Y'all can go look her book up. It's on Amazon, man.
Most definitely. How to Earn and Keep Your Dead Presidents by Sharika Burton. Check it out. All right. We'll be back right after this music break. Don't go nowhere.
No.
My mind won't allow me to not be curious. My folk don't understand, so they don't take it serious. But every now and then, I wonder if the gate was put up the key.
And it was all
I
love.
don't keep on saying.
Really good time. You know what I'm saying?
somebody
Make
you
something,
talk about.
you know what I mean?
So little the beat going through, I fall a victim too. And I know I shouldn't smoke so much, but I do. With the crew every day on the average about 4 or 5. I'm lucky to be alive at sunrise. I realize the cost after I lost my best friend being. I recognize.
How much you want? There you go. Name on it. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. Really, I appreciate that, man. First one, man. Yeah, do it. Make our family good people, man. Like, they get it from their dad, man. Like, yeah, man.
And I am with everybody, you know what I'm saying? I just so cool. I seen your picture.
Yeah.
See, that's who.
That's who I want to go. That's who I like hanging out with. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like hanging out with people. I like hanging out with
Scars on my head, I'm the boy who lived. Boy, love playing when the boy too sick. Running on the prayer, I'm declining the help.
Yeah, but it's straight like that. But it's straight like that. I'm going out to the most side, cool. I'm in love with my city, put sleep in my hat. I felt all tied ever since my dog died. He lit a 84, that's a long ride. I know everybody not say anyway. I'll be racing up the stairs, I'ma get to the gate. That's all the more reason not to sit on the floor, man. Are we still live?
J-O-S-S-E. Right? Y'all ready? I was trying to find you earlier and I couldn't though. I know I thought we were, but it wouldn't let me pull you up. Your last name Edwards, ain't it? Yeah, it wouldn't let me pull you up. I was like, well, maybe cut and change the name or something. Hey, Southwest Georgia.
Hey.
I couldn't even get it out. I had to take a breath to manifest my own words. How about that? Okay. Hey, Southwest Georgia, you're back with Voices on WUTU 88.3, bringing you the best in community.
And old school classics.
That's right, if you're just tuning in, I'm Nexus.
Cousin Chris.
And today we're joined in the studio with Venorris Edwards of Black Global.
BG.
Alright, that's right.
BG in the building.
And right now he's doing a food drive for the holidays. So if you would like to make a contribution, feel free to drop off at the Phone Hub located at 1923 Dawson Road, all right? In the same plaza with the Albany Fish Company.
Yes.
All right. So while you dropping out some food, you can get you some food, and then you can shop for phones and stuff in the Phone Hub too. Support Black-owned businesses is all I'm saying.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, speaking of Black-owned businesses, shout out to the queens at Soak Indo of Atlanta, GA, located on Auburn Avenue, across from Mango's Caribbean Restaurant. Hey, Bold Spot showed us mad love this past week. All right.
Oh, yeah, I saw you snapping it
most
up.
Definitely. Yeah,
snapping it up.
Yeah. Hey, we were in the city for a training. They showed us mad love at the restaurant. Jerk chicken on point. I don't think I can say the other thing. On point, though. All the drinks on point. They had a radio station come through. So it was real dope. And then we made our way across the street and supported, the Black-owned nail salon. Amazing women, you know what I'm saying, doing great work. All natural, everything, like blending up juices and berries and herbs and spices, for the water. Like, hey, it's an experience that everybody must have. So if you're in Atlanta, make sure you holler at Soak Indo, get your nails and your feet done right. All right?
I got a little somebody I might want to take out there.
Yeah, most definitely, and you should. Right, exactly. Promise. So like we said, just try to make it a part of your daily routine. We know we can't support Black-owned businesses and everything because we don't own everything, but when we can, don't just do it because it's convenient. Like Rika B would say, if we don't support us, who will? The only way to build and generate Black wealth is if we shop and spend Black, all right? Exactly. So make sure you keep them Black dollars in the Black community as best as we can. And don't talk about the service being horrible. Talk to the people. Get to know the people. Let them know what they can do better. That way we can stay in business longer, all right?
Exactly.
Right.
That's all it takes.
And talk to the manager too, maybe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The person that you talk to an employee, man. Talk to the manager or something like that.
Exactly.
Right.
I agree. Before we go any further, Elevated Mind series. It was awesome. We did the creative writing piece again. We did Black Millionaires, introduced the young people to, some people that look like them, men and women who have been innovative within the Black community and generating Black wealth, but it's up to us to preserve it, all right? So we got to keep those legends very much alive in the hearts and minds of not only ourselves, but of our young people, so that they know that their goals are not unachievable, but that they can be obtained because there have been forerunners to set the tone for them. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever your mind creates, elevated mind,
Exactly.
Don't limit yourself. We're trying to introduce you to something new. And I just love the way they've been taking on to it, man. For real, like everything we seem to introduce to them, they just kind of latch on to it.
Right.
I remember at the end of the last series, this past Saturday, you were asking, like, what did y'all learn? And one of them, I believe it was Malachi, he was like, we learned about some people that I didn't even know who they were, and what they did, like these big financial leaders, like these guys that were entrepreneurs and, opened up their own lanes and created revenue, for our community, and was really building.
And we're not just talking about Oprah and Michael Jordan.
You know what I mean? Like it's some, like you don't have to be in front of the camera to, to have money. Like I think a lot of our people in our community get that, that whole thing misunderstood, like especially the new generation, But I mean, it's media driven though.
Right.
It's so visual, like, but it's up to us to do what we've been doing.
Right.
And that's what we're gonna keep doing. Elevated Mind series. Right.
All things, excuse me.
Go ahead.
All things come through knowledge. You know what I'm saying? If y'all dropping that knowledge on those young people, they gonna be raised in the right way, they gonna have a type of vision that you open them doors up to them. You know,
Right.
most of
New
the time,
ideas,
most of the time, our minds are kind of stunted about the growth, and it's not our fault. It's because of the media and what's portrayed and what we glorify, as you said before. But it's a great thing that y'all doing. You know,
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And talking about opening up their minds to new things and new ideas. What about this veggie based meal we had?
Oh man, it was ball, yo. Let me tell y'all this, man. My cousin threw down, and like I was at work late the night before Friday night, and I was like, man, I texted her, I was like, "Cuz, I'm tired, man. Boy, it's gonna be hard to wake up." She was like, "Man, you can do it. I just got back from Atlanta, and I'm in the kitchen getting this food together, and I gotta pick up some kids in the morning for it. You can make it." And like, man, we got there, like she pulled the meal out, and like she had like the pans with the burners on it, with the lasagna, and we had the salad. Like shoot.
And shout out to Mom Dukes for prepping everything so that all I had to do was put it together.
Man, that lasagna was bomb though, with the zucchini slices in there. Oh man.
What?
Is it something left?
Actually, we took it out yesterday. Like what was left, we took it.
Man,
you know, we couldn't let it go past the 3 days. Like, we had to go ahead and get it on the But do know that the kids really enjoyed it. They were a little skeptical at first, like, what is this? But then I was like, hey, just get a little bit and try it. Just try it. And they were like, oh, that was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I get some more of that salad? I want a little more fruit.
Man,
okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
I can feel it.
So yes, and shout out again to the farmers, because most of the produce that went into those dishes came from the farmers, from the eggplants to kale and the kale salad, the Saxony oranges in the fruit salad. All of that was provided by our
mini
farmers.
oranges. Yeah.
What was the name of those oranges? Saxony?
Yes.
They're like mini oranges.
Yeah. So they aren't cuties and they aren't halos, but it's like a orange tangerine combo.
Kind of thing going
but
on, man.
fresh off the tree, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And it was fresh. Let me tell you, man. Like it was just a good, wholesome meal. Like I felt energized, you know. Like it wasn't heavy on me. It didn't feel funny, you know. It was just like a good meal. Like it just came down and just rested on your stomach, just right.
I appreciate that.
We're naturally like plant and fruit eaters. It's unnatural for us to eat
meat, right?
And I'm gonna tell you how you base that off of. You can get a baby. You can put some fruit right here, and you can put a rabbit in there. Watch the one he eat. Watch the one he play with. And I tell you right there, he gonna eat the fruit. He gonna play with the rabbit, because we're not natural meat eaters. Now, if you put a natural predator around a rabbit and some fruit, what you think gonna happen? He gonna eat that rabbit. So that tells you right there, our body doesn't really react to all that meat. But I love steak. I'm just I cook the steak so good now I make the next one another day. So I'm gonna throw that out there. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at you.
A good one.
Right.
That one, but it was thick.
A nice ribeye. Okay.
So you know,
let me stop.
Most definitely though. I get where you're coming from, but like you said though, you made a very valid point that naturally we aren't meat eaters, and you know it's not something that we have to have in every meal.
Right.
You know, not saying that you have to be completely vegan or completely vegetarian, but just fast from those things a couple of days, you know, a week, a month, however you feel, and see how much better you feel as a person, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about, is providing a holistic approach to elevation. Because if you're not feeding your mind the proper things physically and spiritually, then everything else is pretty much shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's all about mind, body, soul. You know what I'm saying? It's a combination of everything. That includes like, make sure y'all drinking y'all water out here.
What?
You know?
And when you drinking that water, make sure you speaking the proper energies over it, because you ingesting that. Right.
Right. So, you know, it's all about healthy life. You know what I'm saying? Healthy mind, you know, healthy things happen, you know.
Right, most definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so.
All right.
What is Christmas?
What is Christmas?
Who is Santa?
Who is Santa? Who is this guy?
Hey,
man?
what is Christmas?
Who
What?
got my
Right?
house,
Okay,
man?
okay. I'm gonna give you my answers off top, cause okay. What is Christmas? To me, Christmas is right now. It's what kids think it is all about the toys, but really it's about supposed to be the birth of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Basically,
You heard how you say it's supposed to be.
supposed to be about the birth of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Satan out is the ones who know. You know what I'm saying? But it's supposed to be about it. So I just look at it like it's a time for giving. You know what I'm saying? Just putting a smile on somebody's face, and that's all I think of it. Now, who is Santa Claus? I already told my kids, I'm Santa Claus. I'm not finna have y'all thinking like somebody sliding down this chip. No, Daddy is going to work for this every day.
Right.
So don't worry about being good for Santa Claus. You better listen to what I have to say.
Okay.
Right.
Or you might not get anything.
Right.
Get it in order, right?
Right, most definitely. But I am Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. I just cut my beard, but I'm still him.
Right. All right. Okay, so that's a great answer, and you brought up a key point about Christmas supposedly being about the birth of the Savior, the birth of Christ, whatever we choose to reference him as. Right. But real quick, let me read you a little snippet of an article. And this was in the 1990s, all right, in Ohio. The Salone School Board banned all nativity, all right, and other Christmas scenes on any school property because they felt it violated the separation of church and state. They were challenged in court when outraged parents opposed them, feeling that Christmas was being stolen from their children in the community. The board lost the case. The citizens had contended that Christmas was a worldwide tradition that was not a part of and transcended religion. All right, it was deemed to be secular, a part of virtually all cultures worldwide. The court's decision affirmed that Christmas has no Christian roots. The courts also concluded that Christmas keeping in manger scenes could remain because they are not really part of either Christianity or religion. But prayer and Bible reading, which must remain excluded from schools. Nearly all aspects of Christmas observed have their roots in Roman custom and religion. All right, so American newspaper, the Buffalo News, on November 22nd, 1984, released that the earliest reference to Christmas being marked on December 25th comes from the 2nd century after Jesus Christ, all right, which would have been after his birth. It is considered likely that the first Christmas celebrations were in reaction to the Roman Saturnalia, all right, a harvest festival that marked the winter solstice, the return of the sun, and honored Saturn, the god of sowing. Christmas developed, one scholar says, as a means of replacing worship of the sun with worship of the sun, S-O-N, by 529 AD, after Christianity had become the official state religion of the Roman Empire. Emperor Justinian made Christmas a civic holiday. All right, so one last thing: the Catholic Encyclopedia in 1911, under Christmas, stated that Christmas was not among the earliest festivals of the church. The first evidence of the feast is from Egypt. Further pagan customs centering around the January calends gravitated to Christmas under natal day. Origin, an early Catholic writer, admitted that in the scriptures no one had ever been recorded to have kept a feast or held a great banquet on his birthday. Right. All right, so that's just a little bit, and if you want to get a little deeper into it, there are a lot of references that you can find in the Encyclopedia Americana, the 1956 edition, that goes on to say that Christmas was not observed in the first centuries of the Christian church, since the Christian usage in general was to celebrate the death of remarkable persons rather than their birth. A feast was established in memory of this event in the 4th century. In the 5th century, the Western Church ordered the feast to be celebrated forever on the day of the rites of the birth of the sun and at the close of the Saturnalia, as no certain knowledge of the day of Christ's birth even existed.
You know what though? That doesn't surprise me though. You know, I mean, it's just like with most things, you know, in the society, you know, it's been whitewashed. You know,
Right.
It's so like, I mean, that's what it is. That's the correct term. You know, I didn't use it inappropriately. You know, but I mean, I didn't. But you know, most things in the society they've been whitewashed, and you know, they've been painted in a certain light for everybody to, you know, to hold on to that one concept and that be the right thing. You know, don't think. You know what I mean? Like it's designed for us to not think about it. You know, but like,
Don't question it. Just go along
with it.
Right.
You know, and it's so funny how it's based on how it's supposed to be based on, you know, something so righteous, you know, but they covered it up, you know, what it really was, you know, like, and made this right and bastardized the other version of it, you know, like, no, not this way, you know, SON, we're gonna, you know, but it was, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's deep though.
Right.
You know, it's very deep. You know how they bastardize one version of it and uplift the other version of it.
Right.
You
And
know,
then they go back
and
to
say that it was their own and this is the right way, and you know, don't think about it. You know.
Yeah. See, that's the dangers with the books.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the books, like anybody can write anything in the book, and usually the victors write the books. They're not gonna tell about the little guy. They're not gonna tell about what they had to do to get there. They're gonna tell the watered down, the whited down version. But like my boy says. So usually, that's what we get. We brought up to a society to where everything is so. This is it. You don't go against it. My grandmother and my mother, you know, I love them to death, but if I go against anything against what as far as their Christianity and what they believe now, I was born in a Christian church, and I don't not anything or any of their beliefs. I just consider myself a spiritual person at this point. But if I go against anything that they've learned or being heard about while they were in the church, they don't want to. It's an automatic argument. Oh, you down this, you down that. How can you believe everything that a man wrote in the book without going to ever do your own research?
Okay, well, let me take it a little step further for you. Okay, so if they actually read this book correctly, and read it for themselves, then they would see and know and understand, you know, that the Bible, being that this is our reference, our guide for tonight's conversation, doesn't even give you instruction on this day. It speaks of it nowhere. You know, and if we want to really make a justification, you know, then to be honest, the Most High was against it. And it said, quote, in the Bible, you know, this being one of the red typings where it's supposed to be what Christ said, right? He said, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men, which is Matthew 15:9. All right, and Christmas is not a command of God. It's a tradition of men. A bunch of men came
up with this. Right.
Exactly. And then he goes on to say that full well you reject the commandment of God that you may keep your own traditions in Mark 7:9. And on the 25th of December, what do? We go out and we spend bukus of dollars buying gifts that we say are, you know, are the legacy or tradition of the 3 wise men, and it never said that there were 3 wise men, you know, so that's another thing that helps us discredit it. And the wise men came from the east. Historically, if you were from the eastern part of the country, whenever you greeted a king or you were in the presence of royalty, you brought them gifts. You know what I'm saying? So they understood their role and their place and his place as well when it comes to that. But even to go a little deeper, just to even talk about whether or not he was even born on December 25th. No. It would tell us that, you know, if we went back, read the Bible, and actually put it in chronological order, He was born around the fall of the year, based off of the shepherds and what the flock were doing and how they were keeping their herds, you know. Right. So if you want to do your research on that, go read Luke 2 and 8, Ezra 10, 9 through 13, and Song of Solomon 2 and 11. Okay. You know,
this somebody who done some research, you know what I'm saying? Somebody who actually read through the Bible for themselves instead of always just listening to what somebody else has to say about it.
Right, exactly, because it breaks it down very plainly and clear for us if we're choosing, you know, and that's my only drawback. If you're choosing to live according to the Bible, then read it, gain some wisdom and some understanding, and utilize what has been given to you instead of just going off of a couple of verses or a couple of books that you know.
Exactly.
Right.
Just going to church.
If you're going to believe in something, go all the way forward. Yes,
right.
Don't skip steps. Don't just go in there and listen to what your pastor says. He's probably going to cover the same thing that's going to get people to donate into the collection pot. Just go and put y'all on the game. Church is big business right now. In case y'all didn't know.
It's corporate business right now.
In case y'all don't.
Really?
Business right now, you know.
And it tells you, you know, study to show thyself approved. You know, and that's where we're lacking. We, like you said, because we just go along to get along, but it's time out for that. It's time for us to take our lives into our own hands. If you say you believe in something, that you're living a certain way, know what you're doing. Otherwise, somebody else is, like you said, you brainwashed, you under somebody else's mind control. It's time to get up from under the master's, you know what I'm saying, hand and watch and all of that other stuff, because we don't have to go along with it. We have a right to turn something bad into our own tradition. Right. Like you said, it's not about that for you and your family, even though, you know, the elders might feel a certain type of way. At the end of the day, it's about what's right and what's wrong, and right is right and wrong is wrong all day. And the origin of Christmas and the traditional way of us honoring and celebrating is wrong. We've been taught lies about Christmas, just like we've been taught lies about who we are, where we come from, and all of the rest of the holidays. All right. So, Southwest Georgia, I think we're gonna go to a break right there. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere, because we will be back after this.
Oh my God, I don't believe this, man.
Yo, Tough, who they put you with, man?
Deaf Beat, man. Yo, man, they stuck me and Mace with Deaf Beat too. Hello, Prince Paul's the name. You know the DJ for Sonic and the producer of this particular group. And now after that, and on to the soul. De La, that is. If you take 3 glasses of water and put food coloring in them, you have many different colors, but it's still the same old water. Make the connection, and now back to our video.